How are you breathing every day? We all breathe every day, but do we know the quality of our breath? How is that? Are you a mouth breather or a nose breather, chest breather, abdominal breather? There's so many different names to it. What is the proper way of breathing? And how does that proper breathing help us? In order to understand that, today I invited a guest who was here before with us. I am Rajitha Bommakanti, registered nurse, faith-based holistic coach, and founder of Healthy You Lifestyle Center. If you want to develop healthy habits for life, one step at a time, then click that red subscribe button and the bell icon now. I invited Dr. Char today, who has been a yoga teacher for years and years. He got his certification back in 1985. Since then, he has been teaching yoga throughout the world. And he is also an adjunct professor at the Life University in Marietta, Georgia. He's the author of this book, Yoga Vademekam, Health Outcomes of Yoga Intervention. And so you can dig deep into that book, more about the information on what is yoga and how it helps your health. That being said, let's welcome Dr. Char. You had mentioned about breathing, that most of us don't breathe correctly.
Yes,
You would think we all know how to breathe, right? When we are born, as soon as we are born, we start breathing. So,
absolutely.
what is this right breathing and a wrong breathing?
So, yeah, that's a great question, isn't it? It's one of the paradoxes of life. Is something to do something so critical it is, so uh, uh, existential importance, breathing particularly, and yet we are so lackadaisical when it comes to breathing. And I have observed in my classes students not breathing properly at all, a majority of them. And whether it's in the yoga class or in my biostatistics class or anywhere else, in wherever I see groups of people, whether it's in a wedding or it's in a any other occasion, I see people uh, abandoning this particular natural process of abdominal diaphragmatic breathing, and instead do all kinds of wrong breathing, including what we call paradoxical breathing. In paradoxical breathing, what happens is basically when you take a deep breath, the lungs expand, and when the lungs push the diaphragm in the thoracic area down, and so the stomach comes forward, the belly comes forward. I'm not saying it should come forward too much like a pot belly. No, I'm not saying that. But even in a gentle, subtle way, it comes forward a little bit. And then when you breathe out, the diaphragm goes up, the lungs get emptied, not fully emptied, but at least half emptied. And so diaphragm goes up and the belly goes back to its original position. So that is the natural process. When you inhale, the tummy should come forward. When you exhale, the tummy should go backward. But I've seen in large number of cases the tummy going inside when they inhale and coming forward. I mean, yeah, exhaling. When they're exhaling, it's coming forward. It's the paradox. We call it paradoxical breathing. It should be the other way around. And so let us therefore make sure all of us breathe perfectly. In the last video, I think we spoke about the lung capacity, something like 6,000 milliliters, like two big mugs. It is bathroom mugs. There's so much of air it can take up. And so when we breathe in, the capacity, the volume of air we breathe in is just about less than 5%, like 250 milligrams, or at the most 300 milligrams. So which is like 5% of the lung capacity.
Mm.
Now, why are we underutilizing our enormous capacity? And when we say underutilizing, we are undernourishing the trillions of cells in the human body, which I think is a big injustice we do to our own cells. And
So let me ask you about that. Um, so majority of us are breathing that way. Where when you inhale, your stomach goes in, when you exhale, it comes out.
paradoxical breathing.
Paradoxical breathing.
Yeah.
How did we learn that way of breathing?
Yeah, that's astonishing. That's a great question. And I think we got to observe children, particularly. Uh, there, what happens is when you lose control over your emotions, like when you're angry, like when you're, very anguished, particularly when people are unhappy, anguished, have emotional ups and downs. At that time, breathing goes haywire.
Mm.
When people are breathing normally, when belly breathing is going on, diaphragmatic belly breathing going on, you will never, I mean, you seldom ever see people getting angry, getting emotional, getting anyway upset with anything. That's the observation I have seen. Well, one reason, I mean, uh, it's a weakness on my part, for example, I can't get angry. I mean, this is something amazes me, and it really kind of upsets a lot of other ladies and gents who want to chastise me for whatever. Oh my God, this
He's
guy.
right.
So this guy doesn't get upset. How are you going to provoke him any which way possible? So that's one thing, because breathing, I give a lot of importance to breathing. When you do Surya Namaskar or any other kind of breathing exercise, it's done synchronously. Everything we do in life should be done synchronously with our breathing. Conscious. It's not possible, for example, I'm jogging or something like that. It's not possible to do that kind of observation. And it's quite possible I start breathing. That happens because of the pace at which I'm going, and the heart has to pump up more blood. And so that's understandable. That is quite understandable. But when I'm not doing jogging or any exercise, and I'm sitting quietly and I'm talking to you, I'm talking to anybody or expressing something, there's hardly any reason why the default breathing cannot be belly breathing. Now let me see. Let me show you what I mean by belly breathing. So I'm closing my eyes. You don't have to close your eyes, because in real life you don't close your eyes, but otherwise I'm taking a deep breath. I'm holding the breath. I can hold a little longer, but I think we are running the video, so I'm exhaling it at this time. And I'm waiting. After exhaling, I'm waiting for a couple of seconds before I take my next breath. So Iyengar's book, Light on Yoga, they give ratios. Particularly Iyengar Yoga gives ratios, like inhalation, let us say, is 10 seconds. Holding it is, let us say, 20 seconds. There's 30 seconds in all. and then exhalation, let us say it's 10 seconds, that's 40 seconds, and then waiting for a couple of seconds before you take in next breath, let's say 5 seconds. So 10 plus 20 plus 10 plus 5. It's about 45 seconds for a cycle, PKRK cycle. So if we can follow that kind of PKRK cycle and find and extend that cycle to a minute, then we'll have only about 60 PKRK cycles in a whole hour.
So
Instead,
let me understand.
Yeah.
So the proper way of breathing from what you have just said is take a deep breath in slowly
yeah,
and get all the air in all the way into the belly
yeah,
where
in the lungs,
your
yeah,
belly is pushed out like a balloon
yeah,
and hold,
yeah.
then
As long as you can, 20 seconds.
slowly
Yeah,
exhale
yeah,
with pulling your belly button in so that your belly is going in and the air is coming out,
yeah.
and then hold
For a couple of seconds, yeah,
and then start breathing
that's right.
again, same process cycle.
Yeah.
So
Sooner we learn this and do the belly breathing, so much better. Because
tell me what's better about that. What are the benefits of that?
amazing, amazing benefits. Because we're if you don't do belly breathing, basically we're undernourishing the trillions of cells in the human body. Deepak Chopra says there are something like 7 trillion cells in the human body. I read that 20 years ago, something. And then uh, the brain alone has about 50 to 60 billion neurons, and they are high consumers of oxygen, like almost 60 to 70% of the entire breath is taken by neurons. So the other parts of the body get to consume much less,
Mm.
proportionately. So that's because of the neurons fighting off bioelectricity. Bioelectricity is also called the alpha waves. I mean, you can trace the alpha waves very nicely. Electrocardiogram machines can record them. And those, when the breathing is good, the neurons fighting off that bioelectricity waves, alpha waves, will push my heart. So the heart functions as competently as the alpha waves are coming in. So in order to generate good, robust alpha waves, we got to breathe, belly breathe. Simple
Mhm.
as that. So I would urge anybody who watching it to make sure first and foremost before you going to learn anything about yoga or anything else or Ayurveda, whatever, please for heaven's sakes, for your own sake, for your robust health sake, do belly breathing. It's very important. As a matter of fact, I would ask you to read what Yehudi Menuhin, I think Yehudi Menuhin says in his forward to B.K. Iyengar's book on Light on Yoga. In that, he says very clearly that he would have lost his career at the age of 34, 36, I think. Yeah, at the age of, when he met Iyengar for the first time, he was 36, Iyengar was 34. So at that time when they met, he came to New Delhi and requested Iyengar to teach him because he complained he cannot sleep and he cannot breathe properly. And he had other various other complaints, particularly arthritis, which did not let him use the Stradivarius violin he was using all the time. And he was a maestro. The whole world knows him as the greatest violinist, one of the greatest violinists the world ever produced. And so he requested Iyengar when he met him in New Delhi, please come with me and accompany me to all over Europe and help me learn yoga. And he learned really good yoga. And I have seen very difficult asanas Yehudi performing. Uh,
So this Yehudi Menuhin is a violinist,
that's right.
right? So, and after he met Iyengar,
Yeah,
he traveled with him everywhere
that's right.
and helped him, you know, enhance his practice of yoga,
Absolutely.
which helped him with the violin that
Absolutely.
he is known for.
Yeah, otherwise he would have lost his career. And therefore he calls Iyengar, he's my violin guru when he didn't teach him any, that's really amazing. We start with breathing. Without breathing, nothing is possible.
Let's ask our audience. Tell me in the comments below, how do you breathe? And how many times a minute? Have you noticed? How many times a minute do you breathe? And have you ever noticed when you were angry, frustrated, had disagreement with somebody? How is your breathing pattern? Tell me in the comments below. And keep practicing this proper way of breathing that Dr. Char has just explained. Again, to remind us about the proper way of breathing is taking a deep breath in
Yeah.
and opening up that belly,
Holding it as long
holding
as you can. Yeah.
as long as you can, slowly exhale with your belly going in, and then hold again before taking another breath.
That's right.
So that slows the number of breaths in a minute,
Absolutely. Yeah.
improves your health,
Yes.
improves your brain power, your
Absolutely.
memory,
Awareness. Yeah.
awareness,
Yeah.
right? And longevity.
And you're in more peace with yourself, with the universe. And yeah, it's a whole it's amazing thing. The breath helps us to be sort of be synchronous with the universal laws, universal ways. Yeah, and helps us to improve our lifestyles and longevity. Yeah,
Okay. So by practicing this every day, over time, it will become a habit.
a default.
And,
Yeah,
you just bring your awareness to that breathing. And every time you notice you're not breathing right, shift it back into the proper way of breathing to improve your health and wellness. All right. Thank you, Dr. Char. I
welcome.
am your faith based holistic coach. Until next time, bring your awareness to your breathing. Take a nice deep breath in. With every inhalation, open up your belly like a balloon. Hold. Slowly exhale and hold before you take another breath.